In this video, I break down exactly how to start a home care agency in 2026 from scratch. Even if you have no medical background, no nursing license, and you've never run a business before. You will see how to pick the right model, choose the right state, navigate Medicaid licensing without losing 6 months to a rejected application, find your first caregivers, land your first paying client, and avoid the cash flow trap that kills most new agencies in their first 90 days. I'll show you how my students are billing $10,000 to $50,000 a month. Caregiver brings the client hack that built half of my 8-figure empire and the exact roadmap to your first deal. I've built and sold 4 home care agencies, over $50 million in billing, $20 million in revenue, and over 1,000 employees, all starting from Philadelphia with no medical background. And the wildest part is that almost every successful operator I know in this industry started the exact same way I did, completely clueless. That's the whole point of this video. You don't need to be a nurse. You don't need to have a healthcare background. You don't need $100,000 in the bank. What you need is the right playbook for 2026, and I'm giving it to you in the next 12 minutes. Now, here's why this matters more in 2026 than any other year I've been in this business. There are 10,000 baby boomers turning 65 every single day in America. By 2030, every boomer in this country will be over 65. That's 73 million people who are going to need some form of care, and the system is nowhere close to be ready for them. Meanwhile, everyone online is chasing AI agencies, drop shipping, Amazon, the same recycle hustle of the week, and they're walking right past the most recession-proof, highest margin business model sitting in plain sight. So by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to do tomorrow morning to start building this. Before I give you the steps, I have to talk about the 2 mistakes I see almost every new owner makes. Because if you screw either one of these up, the rest of your playbook doesn't matter. You're already 6 months behind. Mistake number 1, people pick the wrong type of home care. There are 2 kinds of home care, medical and non-medical. Medical is skilled nursing, IV therapy, wound care. You need licensed nurses on staff. You need clinical oversight. The insurance alone will eat you alive, and your startup cost is 6 figures minimum. It's a real business, but it's not a starter business. Now, non-medical is the opposite. Companion care, personal care, helping somebody bathe, dress, meal preparation, transportation, daily living support. No nursing license is required. You're running a service business that happens to be in healthcare. And here's what nobody tells you. Non-medical is where the volume is, where the demand is, where the margins are the cleanest, where the license is fastest. Unless you have a clinical background and a few $100,000 burning a hole in your pocket, you start non-medical. Period. Mistake number 2, people pick the wrong state. Look, every state runs this game differently. Some are county-based, some barely regulated at all. And the difference between the right state and the wrong state isn't just bureaucracy. It's where the money actually comes from. Medicaid is the biggest payer in this industry by miles. One Medicaid client can bill between $2,500 to $6,000 a month, every single month, sometimes for years. That math is what makes this business different from anything else you've ever looked at. 5 clients replace a 6-figure salary. 10 clients and you're building real wealth. Get to 50 and you're sitting on an asset that you can sell for millions. I've done it 4 times at this point. But Medicaid programs are state by state. So when you pick your state, you're really picking your payer. Now, states like Indiana, Ohio, Maryland, South Carolina, these are some of the strongest states for Medicaid home care right now. If you're one of these, half your battle's already won. If you're not, you need to do real homework on what your state actually reimburses before you spend 12 months building something the market won't pay for. Now, once you pick your model and your state, the setup is actually the fastest part of the whole process. Most people overcomplicate it. You form an LLC, you pull an EIN from the IRS, you open up a bank account, you buy a domain name. You can knock all of that out in a weekend for under $300. But here's why people quietly screw themselves. Do not put the word medical in your business name if you're not licensed for medical care. Don't put nursing in there either. Most states will reject your license application on the spot if the name implies clinical services you are not licensed for. I've seen people lose 4 months because they named their LLC something like Sunrise Medical Home Care before checking with the state. Pick something professional that sounds like a real brand, not Bob's Home Care LLC. After that comes the part that traps almost everybody, the license itself. Look, every state has an application packet that runs anywhere from 40 to 200 pages. Policies and procedures, background check, protocols, insurance certificates, caregiver training documentation, HIPAA compliance, and the state is not your friend. They don't call you to fix your mistakes. If you submit it wrong, they reject the whole thing. You go to the back of the line. Now you've just lost 3 to 4 months of your life. This single step is why most people quit before they even open their doors. So here's my advice. Don't try to write your policies from scratch. Don't pay an attorney $5,000 per document either. Get a template pack from somebody who is actually licensed an agency in your state. The difference between doing this right and doing it wrong is the difference between launching in 60 days and launching in 12 months. Once you're licensed, you need 3 pieces of software to actually run the business. Don't over-engineer this thing. This is a non-negotiable because Medicaid requires EVV, electronic visit verification, and without it, you literally will not get paid. You need payroll, which is just Gusto or ADP. Pick one and move on. And you need billing software to submit your claims to Medicaid or private payers. That's it. You don't need a massive office on day one. You don't need a logo, a fancy website, or a commercial lease. I ran agencies properly out of my own home for months before I ever signed for commercial space. What you actually need is a phone number, a professional email, and a system to track every client and every caregiver. This is the part everyone wants to skip to. How do you actually get clients? But before clients, you need caregivers. And new owners always get this backwards. They think they need to hire 10 caregivers before they can take their first client. They sit there for 6 months trying to build a roster of people they don't have work for. That's wrong. You need 1 caregiver per client. That's the entire equation. When I'm recruiting as a brand new owner, I don't pay for premium job boards on day one. I post on Indeed for free. I post in local Facebook groups. I post in neighborhood community pages. And here's what most owners don't realize. The caregivers you actually want to hire are already working at other agencies, but they're underpaid. Their paychecks come in late. The owner won't answer the phone. You're not trying to compete on salary alone. You're trying to be a better employer than the agency they already can't stand. On-time pay, real benefits when you can afford them. Actually treating people like adults instead of W-2 numbers. That's the entire recruiting strategy. Be a better place to work than the agency that they're stuck at. Now, when it comes to clients, there are 3 plays that actually work in 2026. Play 1 is a hospital discharge planner and social worker. These are the people who decide where patients go when they leave the hospital, and they're making that decision 2 or 3 times a day. So you show up in person, you bring coffee, you leave a 1-page handout, you follow up every 2 weeks. This is old school relationship building, and in 2026, it still beats every digital play out there because nobody else is doing it anymore. Play 2 is paid ads to family caregivers. This is the adult daughter who's been taking care of her mom for 2 years and is burning out, or the son who's flying home every other weekend because dad keeps falling. Meta ads work. Google search works. You're targeting the person who's Googling home care near me at midnight because they're at the end of their rope. But play 3 is the one nobody talks about, and this is the one that changed everything for me. But play 3 is the one nobody talks about, and this is the one that changed everything for me. It's the caregiver who brings their own client. When you hire a caregiver who's been working privately for a family for years, they very often bring that family with them. The family wants a caregiver they already trust. The caregiver wants the benefits and steady pay of working through an agency. So you get a brand new client and a brand new caregiver in one single transaction. I built half my first agency on this play, and almost no other operator in the industry talks about it. If you do this right, you can get to 3 to 5 clients in your first 90 days without ever cold calling a hospital, just by being the agency that the underpaid caregiver at the bad agency wants to switch to. Now there's one more thing I have to show you, and this is the part almost no other operator on YouTube is going to teach you. It's called the family member hack. Right now there's a daughter somewhere in your city taking care of her aging mother, getting her dressed, making her meals, driving her to the doctor, handling her medication. She's doing all of that every single day for free. She has no idea she can get paid for the work she's already doing. Through Medicaid waiver programs in most states, it's called consumer directed model of care. The family member applies for Medicaid services, gets approved, and then chooses their own caregiver. That caregiver can be them. So they become a paid caregiver through your agency, and you handle the billing, the compliance, and the payroll, and the tax side. Everyone wins. The family member gets paid for work she was doing for free. The client stays with the person she already trusts, and you get a client and a caregiver in one single transaction. No recruiting strangers, no turnover, because a daughter taking care of her mother is not quitting after 90 days. There are 53 million informal caregivers in America right now. Every single one of them is a potential client caregiver pair for your agency, and almost none of them know this option exists. That's the gap that you're stepping into. This is fully legal, fully government funded, and intentionally built into the healthcare system. It's not a loophole. It's how the system was designed to work, and almost nobody's using it correctly. Let me put real numbers on this so you can see what we're actually building. One Medicaid client's bills between $25,000 to $6,000 a month, not once, every single month, and often for many years after. 5 clients at an average of $4,000 a month is $20,000 a month, $240,000 a year. 10 clients at the same average is $40,000 a month, $480,000 a year. And here's the part that makes this business different from anything else that you're going to look at: the exit. You're not just building monthly income, you're building an asset. Clean books, solid compliance, documented processes. You're looking at millions on the way out. I've done it 4 times at this point. That's not theory, that's tape. People get old, people get sick. That doesn't stop because the economy is down. This business is recession proof, and AI cannot walk into a 78-year-old woman's home. People get old, people get sick. That does not stop because the economy is down. This business is recession proof, and AI cannot walk into a 78-year-old woman's home and help her get dressed and make her breakfast. This is a human job, and it always will be. That makes it AI proof too. There's no other small business I know of where the math works like this. You can run that with a handful of caregivers and no commercial office. I ran agencies out of my home for the first year of every one of them. So let me leave you with this: the opportunity is real, the model is proven, the window is open right now. The only thing standing between you and a real agency is whether you actually move on it. Most people watch a video like this, get fired up for a day, and then go right back to the same W2 on Monday morning. Don't be most people. If you want my full playbook, the same system I've used to build and sell agencies for millions in exits, I'm running a free live class where I walk through the caregiver arbitrage system in full detail, the state-specific licensing breakdown, the family member hack, and the exact 90-day roadmap to your first Medicaid payment. It's live, and I teach it myself. I'll also answer all of your questions at the end. Click the first link in the description to register. Spots are limited, and and there's no replay guarantee. And if you're not ready to take it that seriously yet, no hard feelings. Everything in this video is enough to start moving on your own. Either way, subscribe for more videos like this, and I'll see you in the next one.